What's up? I'm Lewis, and I play drums in New Politics.
My name is David, and I sing in New Politics. And CERN, he's not here at the moment, but he'll pop in at any moment.
Yeah.
He sings and plays guitar.
Awesome. Okay, so about how long have you guys been together? And how did you guys kind of all meet and start doing
the three of us, CERN, Lewis, and I, we've been a band. Lewis got in the band about two and a half years ago, something like that.
Almost three now.
Yeah, we're getting there.
Yeah.
And CERN and I have been writing and working together for about 6 years, probably a little more than 6, somewhere between 6 and 7.
Nice.
And we've officially been the band New Politics for a little over 3 years, like 3 years or something like that.
Cool. So you guys released your album, A Bad Girl In Harlem, if I'm correct on that.
Yeah.
Right. Okay. So what was the process like for writing and recording that particular album? Was it all like, was it kind of spaced out over time, or was it? Did you guys go in and say, we're gonna make a record? Let's go and sit down and do all that.
Yeah. I mean, it took us a year and like 2 months to write that album. So
wow.
Very spaced out.
It was very spaced out, but also very intense and very, trying different things. We wanted to. There were so many aspects that went into the songwriting and producing, more than just making an album. There was like the development, the wanting to grow as artists. Like our experiences, what we've learned. In the years before that. Moving here and all those sort of things played a part and role in it.
Yeah.
So it was a long process. We wrote a lot of songs. We tried a lot of different things with the the sound universe, like the production and all that, and
yeah,
ended up being what it was.
Very cool. So when I listened to, I was telling him earlier that I actually caught your guys' set at BFD Festival in Mountain View a few years ago. Yeah, it was and
was that this year or what?
Yeah, it was in June.
You were lucky because we went on first. Like.
I got there. Band. I got there right as the show had started, and I was there pretty early, but it was a great set. But so I noticed in your music there, I want to say like there's almost like certain like hip hop influences and things like that kind of throughout. So where does that come from? Essentially, like if there's any artists or any kind of background.
It's a combination of I would say more me and, I mean, David is heavily influenced in the hip hop world, like from dancing and stuff like that.
Oh, awesome.
But he comes from that whole world. I am heavily influenced drummer by hip hop. I mean, that was like, what I just love to. I've always loved to play along to like like Wu-Tang records and stuff like that. But I mean, it's funny that you say that, because it's like each of us have such different influences. Like Soren comes, I mean, we're all pop heads. Everyone loves pop.
We're all pop. Yeah, we're all rock. We love rock. We love pop. We love hip-hop. We love grunge. We love.
Nice.
We're probably the most. I can't say that because most people are. I think it's very common for, like, with this day and age, it's such there's so much information, there's so much music, genres are becoming less and less like
defined.
It's becoming less a thing, an important thing.
Absolutely.
I think before it was like with the generation before us, it was maybe more, like this, but with the internet and technology and the way, the whole movement as a people or whatever, you take whatever hits your heart, and a lot of whatever those sort of things capture you and open new worlds, and it's very inspiring actually.
Absolutely.
And I think we try to do that in our music as well. It's like, that's where our we have like a motto in our band, which is it's called F it, and that relates kind of with that. It's like less thinking, less. Here's CERN is. When you look back at it, the stuff that really, the stuff that became something you didn't think if it was this genre, if it was right, if it was this. Of course, there's always a bit of subconscious. You think a little of it, but I mean, when it really comes down to brass taxes, is that what it's called?
Yeah.
Then it's like, it is F it. You know what I mean? It is what it is. and this is us. This is what we want to express at the moment. This is who and where we are, and you know, this is how we deliver.
Well, like, I mean, they're really, I mean, and this is my first experience, like, writing, being a part of a record with these guys. I wasn't part of the first record, but what I can say is that there really are no walls.
Yeah.
You know, like, it's like if we literally will go from, like, a fast-paced punk song to, like, an R&B song that, you know, that you would never think would come out of us, but, you know, it's there. We're not afraid to give it a shot and go all the way with it.
Absolutely.
That's awesome.
And if it comes from the heart, that's all that matters.
Absolutely. That's a great mentality.
Yeah.
So a thing that definitely struck me about you guys when I saw your show, you have no bass player. What made you guys kind of decide to go the route of having no bass player?
Kind of just happened.
Yeah.
We were in Denmark and did you tell about that competition thing?
Yeah, a little bit.
When we entered that competition, we had 14 days till the first show. We need to write 2 more songs because we were playing. I think we were playing 15 minutes.
Yeah,
okay.
15
and
minutes.
We were like,
max.
Yeah, max.
We were like, we don't even have 3.
So we were like, oh, what are we gonna do? And then we knew a drummer through my old band. The guitarist was friends with the drummer, and I knew him too, and knew he was cool. So he played with us, and we just tracked the bass. And I had done that before in my old band. We had a hard disk recorder.
Got it.
That played some of the tracks, so we thought, why not just do that?
Yeah.
And then it just happened. Besides, all the basses were from a synth. We didn't even have live bass on any of it until we did the actual final recording.
Yeah.
We added some live bass to it, but we live in a funny age when it comes to music. You know, you can do anything you want, and everybody has a, you know, an Ableton, like a computer rig, and it was just, for us, we thought it would be cool to do because it gave us a chance to just do whatever we wanted on stage and actually make it sound really big, even though we were only 3 guys and didn't have a bass player. So we thought it, you know, that it would be fun to do, and it's actually really fun to see now. Because we didn't think about it, but there's a lot of bands that are doing that now too, you know. So we never thought it. We just did it. So,
that's cool.
It's funny to see now how it's becoming a thing that a lot of bands do.
It's important. It's important to. I think it's important for people that come to see us play and go to see other, you know, track bands play. That, you know, you realize that just because it's very easily to get, like, you know, you're looking at 3 guys and there's a bass going on and there's other stuff going on.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've spoken, you know, you hear things and people speak, you know, who's doing that on stage, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
You know, all of that stuff that's being played back is written, recorded, but, you know, by us, mostly by this guy right here, because he's the magician over here, you know. But, like, it's just as real as anything else, you know. And that's like another thing that, like, what Soren was touching on. You know, the world is changing a lot, you know, and you don't necessarily need 5 people on stage anymore. Although it's cool, it's great, you know, and there's nothing wrong with that.
You know what I really like about this process? It's the same when you write your music and you do your own demos and everybody has a home studio.
Absolutely.
And a lot of really cool things come out of it. Something, you know, when we started, we were running actually a hard disk recorder that, you know, so you press play and then it played from the song started till the song ended. But there were no, you couldn't really do anything. You couldn't change the set really. Not this, you know, you were very locked to that. And then what's it called? This guy Lewis, he introduced us to Ableton, and I'm a huge nerd when it comes to I just went to study. And then I found out that there are so many things that you could actually do with Ableton, where you can, you know, you can loop a song in the middle of the song, or you can make segues, and, you know, that even if you change the set, you just basically drag and drop the songs, and it's so cool. But anything that you do, including the whole computer music at home, it's really, really creative. It's an instrument in itself, and I think it's really funny how you can, if you have a vision for something, you can actually make it happen just by using your creativity. And, you know, you think, I really wanted to go like that in the end of the song, into that song, but how do I do that when this one comes after and it's different tempo and so on. And if you just use your imagination, you can do anything. And I think that's even for us, I think that's really, really fun to do it that way.
Absolutely.
Whether or not we're gonna have a bass player one day, I don't know. Maybe it all depends on. But for what it is now, then it's fun to really utilize.
We're actually
this
adding
whole-
a full horn section tonight. No, I'm joking.
only baritone saxophone. 16.
Awesome.
Didgeridoos.
Didgeridoos.
Yeah.
So, where did the this is another question about your live show. Where did the breakdancing come from?
We just, you know, that's what I've been doing most of my life, and I always did it. And when I started doing music, it was like, it's a very musical thing. I think all art in general have a very common thing, and the more art you do, the more you realize that.
Absolutely.
And it was like it worked out really well, because it was, you know, it was you know, something, a talent that I had, or something that I loved doing. So it was like a thing that we incorporated in the show, you know.
Nice.
From the get-go, actually.
So, yeah,
And you know, and it's yeah. And you know, it's like, it's something we also want to develop, and you know, hopefully we get the means and the resources to develop both that and lights and do other things. You know, like, who knows, you know, band, I don't know, you know, the future is limitless, you know what I mean?
Possibilities are endless.
So, but one day at a time, yeah, you know, we'll take it, and we can use it the way that we use it now. So.
Awesome. So what's your mentality then when you guys are getting ready to play a show and getting ready to jump on stage?
I think everybody gets a little nervous.
Yeah.
I think it's
Excited.
yeah, very
Little bubbly.
excited and nervous, and you know, you peek out and see the crowd, and it's crazy. The best moment for me is, you know, we have like Lewis goes out first and starts the tracks, and it was in place, and it's really funny how, like, you know, when you hear the crowd, how their reaction is, you know, and you can see that they're hype. And this tour has been amazing.
Yeah.
and also on the last tour we did, and it's such a good feeling when you're like, I think everybody should get a little nervous. It's a really helpful thing to just get a little bit, because it shows that you.
It's very
care.
seldom it's an uncomfortable nervousness.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That I think happens more like when it's like something new for us, or
Yeah.
something we haven't tried or done.
Yeah.
Or, you know, the pressure of, you know, hope we do good and stuff like that.
Oh, absolutely.
But otherwise, we always somehow ram through it.
Nice. So this is a little bit of a random question, but I was very curious when I was writing these questions. So you guys are from Denmark.
Well, the two of us.
The two of you guys are
Yeah.
from Denmark. Where in the US are you from?
Long Island, New York.
Oh, cool. Okay.
What's that?
So what would you say are the differences between the U.S. music scene and the Denmark music scene?
I think it's so funny that we have different opinions. I feel that maybe because also we put on a very energetic show, that there is no real difference. I think it's equally as fun to play in Europe and here. I think people generally they love music and they come out. You can sometimes see difference, you know, if you're in a big city, the crowd can be a little more, you know, they just head bop and reserved and listen, and then some other places they go absolutely monkey poop. And I think that it really depends on. It's the same thing in Europe. It doesn't really matter. You just people seem to really like live music, maybe even more now than it has been in a long time, because everything is based on singles and, you know, on the internet, and so maybe people really go out, instead of putting on the album, they put on the singles on their Spotify playlist or something.
Yeah.
And then they go to the show to really get a good night and to go crazy, and you know, that's my opinion at least.
I mean, for me, it's like, one thing that really amazes me, and this is anywhere I've gone, is that what music does to societies, you know, like, it doesn't matter where you are, music in general is just such a huge part of people's lives. And it really amazes me that, you know, there's artists that I've never known or have heard of that have sold millions of records, and maybe a nation knows every single song, you know, like, I mean, we have that in Denmark as well, you know, you guys will never hear of this guy, you know, Kim Larsen as an example, you know, and he's just like, he's the Elvis of Denmark, you know, and you find that in France, you find in South America, there's so many bands that we'll never hear of, and it's just, but music just in general does such an amazing thing, like, it's so crazy, and with like when you play live shows, it varies because I
Yeah.
think it also has a lot to do with like the crowd.
Mhm.
Sometimes the crowd to us maybe being on stage because we played a show where there's just, you know, mosh pitting and you can walk on the crowd and you can go nuts and people are just going completely crazy. You know, that's just one expression or emotion or
Yeah.
something. Then there's also people that are calm, collected, but listening and enjoying it.
Absolutely.
That enjoy it just as much in their own way. It's just a different way of expressing those sort of things, and I think it varies. Like, you know, like that really varies, like from where you go and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Awesome. Well, this is the last question I got, but this is a question I ask every artist because I always get a wide variety of answers. What kind of message would you like fans and listeners to walk away with after listening to your music?
Oh, that's a really good question.
Smile.
Smile, that's the emotion. I think that oof. I would say happiness.
Yeah, happy, yeah.
That they you know had an amazing time. That whole vibe of music spreads throughout
Yeah, it gives them
the
something they
audience
can
and-
use.
Yeah.
You know, even if it's just like to disconnect for half an hour or to,
Forget
you know,
about
like
real,
drift
yeah.
away in their head,
Yeah.
you know, on a song on repeat or this or whatever, or like help them through something, inspire them to, you know, do music or do something, you know, better or, you know, deal with something in life or whatever. I mean, it's like, I know for us, one of the things that is like a huge acknowledgement for us is just like the feedback we get, you know. Someone, you know, us seeing a crowd sing the song or people writing to us on Twitter, Facebook, Instagram and all that, that means like a lot of the stuff sometimes doesn't even have to do with music and it's still so touching, you know, and I mean, I know that we hope our music does the same in its own way, you know, even if it isn't music related, you know.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Just
Awesome.
stay positive. Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay positive.
Perfect. Awesome. Well, thank you guys very much for taking the time to do the interview.
Sorry for
Awesome.
Totally.